Hello, stock traders. I hope all of you had a great weekend. We have a lot to talk about with Monday coming up. We have so much coming up next week. And so this should be a very informative video where we talk about lots of different stocks, different moves, and things that have been happening within my own personal portfolio. Hopefully you enjoy what is to come. But before we get going, if you could do me a favor, please hit that most amazing and wonderful like button. Also, if you have not done so before, please subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you get notified when a new video comes out. Now, the market can be so frustrating. It takes utter diligence. You have to keep working at it. This year has been an especially frustrating year for me so far in 2023. Over the last 18 years, I have 17 years of 18 of beating the S&P 500 over and over and over again. And so far this year, I am getting creamed by the S&P 500. It is screaming upwards as not all stocks are really moving up within the index, but just a few are really doing amazing. And one of those is Apple, Amazon, there's Tesla, and a few others that are really doing well. And other stocks within the stock market are not doing as well. If you take a look at the equal weighted ETF of the SPY ETF, the S&P 500, the SPX, you will see that it is really just break even for the year. And so this has been really a tough go for a lot of stocks. Not all stocks are participating in the rally. And this is typically in the past, not saying that this is in the future, but in the past, this has been the type of environment that has happened right before a recession. And so we have a negative inverted. We have an inverted yield curve. We have so many things going on that are pointing towards recession. We have a Fed that is wanting to tighten rates even further and slow down the economy, and yet stocks continue to move upwards. So at some point, we will see a turn in this, and it's hard to know when that's going to be, and you could miss a massive rally. That's what's so frustrating about the market, is the market could continue going up because the market really doesn't care about your feelings of where you think the stock market should go. Well, let's get in and start talking about these different stocks and some of the different moves that I made this last week. Take a look at the SPX and the indicators and what they are saying. So we continue to see this sell cluster. This is on the SPX, and we continue to trade within this range. You can see that this level of support at 43.98, that was supposed to be 4,400. It's hard for me to get exactly there. This gap fill is acting as support yet again. We ended there on Friday, so we were doing rather well and then got rejected huge. So each one of these is a 4-hour candles is what this is set to. And so we are coming down to this level. I do have a position at SPXS within my portfolio as a hedge. That is 3x bearish on the S&P 500 due to these sell indicators. And so I pay attention to my indicators. These indicators are with are DeMark indicators. And so this is part of a very proprietary heat map that is DeMark indicators. And so this is something that I use and I've had a lot of success with my investment club, investing different things on this in all the different stocks that I'm in. So the SPX is not looking pretty, but came down to support here. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens on Monday. And it'll be exciting to have a full week. Finally, a full week, and we have other data coming out throughout the week. We also have the CPI report coming out, so it'll be interesting to see how that looks and how that affects the market. All right, so we have the VIX is continuing to be down, but is now elevating a little bit this last week to 14.82, and so the VIX is starting to get a little higher, but 1850 is the average of the VIX since its inception, and so we can expect volatility to get back there. This will be interesting to see how this plays out, but we could see a spike in the VIX along with the market moving downwards, or the VIX could get crushed and the market continue higher. So really no one knows exactly where the market's going to go, but these indicators help me to give me a clue. All right, so some of the stocks that were sold, I sold this on Thursday. This was part of my long-term dividend strategy. This is Next Point Real Estate Finance, and I love this for its dividend, but it gave this sell signal right in here. And so right here is where I sold for a 10.46% gain. This was in my long-term strategy, and I will look for this for a re-entry on this because I've traded this stock many times. Buy here, sell here, buy here, sell here, so on and so forth. And it has been a very successful stock along with dividends when I've had dividends within that and have collected dividends on this. And so this has been a great stock. The next one was not a winner. This is MTA Metalla Royalty and Streaming. This is part of my long-term royalty strategy. And we had this sell signal here, and I moved out of it at a loss, a 9.08% loss. The indicators had me buying right in here. Had a little sale here, sold for a profit, a very small profit, came down here and had more buy indicators bought. And then finally had a sell indicator here, and this one did not work out. So this is how my strategy cannot work. But we had a sell signal, and so I got out of it, which was a wise decision. You can see on Friday, the rest of Thursday and Friday did not do well. Okay, the next was GLP. This is part of my long-term dividend strategy. This had a sell signal right here. You cannot see it. For some reason, it went away. This is very common with this. Sold for a 1.69% gain. This is part of my long-term strategy. This, obviously not very much upside. Bought here in this cluster and then got a sell signal right here for a small gain. I guess I'll take it. All right. And then some different buys to talk about. This one I called out. This is due to insider activity, and this is ticker symbol TELL. I purchased this one on Thursday and called it out in a private Discord on that. If you are wanting access to that, a great place and a great resource that's in the description down below. And we have so many great call outs that happen within there. This one had insider activity of significance, and that was the reason buying into it. Since calling it out, up about 5%. And then I also bought WBA on this cluster down here. And insider activity also reported on it. And so sold this one for a very small loss, a 0.10% loss. You can't see the sell indicator because it went away, but sold that on Friday. And so that is one that I moved out of. A couple other ones I bought. Now these are after the fact, and so you'll just have to use your own diligence on whether you think that this would be a good investment. This is not in the top 7, but or covered here on this channel, but these are 2 call outs that I made throughout the day, and so I'm talking about them now. I'm sharing them with you. At the time, it really hasn't moved very much, so you might take a look at these 2. This one is the Trade Desk Incorporated. I like this one because it's an AI stock, and this is part of my active ETF strategy. It utilizes AI for the benefits of advertising, and so I really like this one for a move upwards. We got some buy signals right here, and so this one I took a position on personally in my personal portfolio at $75.25 average. And then KTOS is another one that I entered, and I entered this one at a 13.65% average. This is part of the RK ETF, and so it's very popular. This is part of my active ETF strategy. And so I'm expecting Kathy Wood to be loading more and those at ARK Invest to be loading more based on these buy signals. Now, these buy signals typically happen before ARK goes in, but it's very, very common for me to enter one of these stocks and then ARK to enter later. And so this might be one that they pick up additional shares on, and that becomes a catalyst for it. But this is one that they're invested in very heavily. It's in the top 10, I believe, in ARKQ. I'd have to double check that, but I think that's the case. And so this one is one that I like a lot, Kratos Defense and Security Systems. All right, so now let's get to the top 7, now that I've talked about all the different moves, we start off, I've moved some around. It is the same top 7. None of these stocks have hit their exit point. These are the 7 stocks that I'm covering as part of this channel and that we have been going through over and over again. The first number 7 is now CRSP. Part of the active ETF strategy. This is CRISPR Therapeutics, and ARK continues to load. They continue to buy signals on this one that has happened here. And so since calling this one out, not doing too hot on this one, this down 11.60%. They are not all winners, but this one could still be a winner. And with how ARK is loading aggressively down at these levels, I think that we could see a spike on this rather soon. This might be a good opportunity for you if you haven't picked up stock on this. This one I think is primed for entry, and I think it would be really, really good. Okay, the next is DRIP. This is the Direxion Daily S&P Oil and Gas. This one I like for a nice move upwards. Obviously, that's why it's part of this list. Since calling this out, it's up 0.82%, so not very much. We had a nice spike here, but we got kind of killed on Friday on this, as oil and gas stocks did very well on Friday, as I guess production levels are of concern, and so that was something that has been kind of interesting on that. So we shall see on that, but this one's been interesting. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's move on to number 5 is actually TZA. And so since calling this out, it's up 3.97%. TZA. This one is the Direxion Small Cap Bear 3X. So as small caps go down, this goes up. And so since calling this out in this buy cluster here, this has done, okay, up 3.97%. We definitely don't have any sell signals or anything of that nature. Looking for a spike on this. Obviously, if we lost on this and won on everything else, I'm okay with that. This is another bearish fund. I am expecting a pullback in the overall market. Based upon my indicators, I think it's a very high chance of that happening. All right, the next is SDOW. This shorts the Dow, and this one's doing rather well, up 5.76% and climbing. And so this one will be interesting to see how it all plays out. Not even starting to get kind of close to a sell indicator. I will put out, if we get a sell indicator on this in midday tomorrow, I will put out a notification on the YouTube channel, just a quick little post. And so if you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications for all, you will get notified, at least that I'm moving out of it. And that does not mean that you need to move out of it. That is just what I am doing, just kind of showing you how I am trading this one. Liking this one so far, doing rather well. We shall see how it goes. Okay, number 3 is RPRX. RPRX is had insider activity. We have an average analyst target of $51.35. Since calling this out, it's up only 0.23%. So you have missed nothing if you have not gone into this one. I do like this for a move up. The insider activity was very, very strong. So we shall see if this gets a different market trend or if we get more insider activity of merit on this. Of course, I will be watching for an exit point on this, but we are a long ways from an exit point on this, in that we have a candle that is very blue, and so that's something that's not even close. So we shall see how this one turns out. All right, the next is VERV. This is VERV Therapeutics. ARK and ARK-G, love this stock, and bought on buy signals here, and ARK has been buying up like crazy on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday. So this is really interesting. $42.80 average analyst target. And so far since calling this out, it's up 1.52%, so not very much, but we shall see how it goes. So if you haven't invested in this, you really haven't missed much at 1.52. I am expecting a nice move. We are a long ways away from a sell signal on this currently. It's not at an exit point. And number 1 is MESO. Now this one was number 7. This is part of my PDUFA strategy. They have a PDUFA date of August 2nd. We have buy signals. We have a PDUFA date of August 2nd. We have an average analyst target of $10.50, which is very, very important for PDUFA run-ups, that the analysts think this stock has upside. Whether or not me or you think the analysts are smart, I kind of think they're idiots. It doesn't matter. Most investors will pay attention to upcoming PDUFA date and an analyst target average of over 100% upside. That tends to be a recipe for a big boom. And so I like this one a lot. This is not about the approval. I could care less whether this stock gets approved or not. I will sell it before August 2nd, before their decision date. Now, if the decision date comes early, that's usually good news. If a decision date comes late, that's typically bad news in this world. And so expecting the FDA for approval on this, but I don't really even care. I have looked at the odds of it, and the odds are pretty good. And so we shall see exactly what happens here. I'm expecting a huge move on this stock upward. Since calling it out, it's up 5.96%. So we've been covering this and looking for a nice long-term kind of midterm trade. This might take a couple weeks. But towards the end of the month, I will be exiting this stock prior to its PDUFA decision date. And so anyway, see if this is something that you like. I hope all of you are enjoying this list. I so appreciate all of your support. If there's a stock you want me to cover, make a mention in the comment section, and I will take a look at it on the next video. All right, I wish you all the best, and Raytoven out.